Keepers of the Cash. Gary B, the Casual Comic Guy here, and welcome to an all-new The 1011. With me every Tuesday, as always, my good buddy, Rob's Fat Stacks of
It's
Comics.
all
Rob,
new?
how you doing?
What's all new? Is it now 10-1-1-1? Oh, new episode. I thought there was something new about the format of the show, like it was now 10-1-1-1.
Nope. Same old show, brand new episode.
Got it.
And if you guys can't tell, Rob's all wound up tonight.
Really wound up.
Yeah.
Joining us in the co-host seat as extras tonight, we have the always entertaining and who had a great 10-1-1 himself, Mark Andrews. How you doing tonight, Mark?
Very well, very well. Just love customer service.
Right? And of course, you're going to see him again. You're going to see this whole crowd minus Rob again in 2 nights when Steve White does his second appearance on the 10-1-1. But here he is as co-host this evening to add a few jabs in the chuck with Mark. They're going to combine their Wonder Twin powers and just give it to him.
Wonder Twin powers.
Ready?
Unite.
So the man of the hour, of course, we're talking about him. We have Chuck Hensey
Gotta go that way.
for his second appearance on the 10-1-1, and he's got a groovy theme tonight, folks.
Y'all, we're going to have a mod world tonight. We're going to have lots of fun. An homage back to Laughing and the great times of the late 60s and the early 70s.
Suck it to me.
Amen to that. Exactly.
Nice. Well, we're going to say a quick hi to the chat, Chuck, and then we'll come right back to you. We'll start getting on some books.
Sounds great.
First in, as always, James Las Cruces. How you doing tonight, sir? Then from Canada, we got Brad Wellborn. Nice of you to join us. Thank you. And Psychedelic Comics, Paul. Good evening, sir. And of course, the best blue wrench in the business, Miss Tina Carrington, friend of all.
Yay.
We got Kevin. Good evening, Kevin. How you doing, sir? Thank you for the support. We always like seeing you, buddy. Thank you so much. And we also have Matt Woods, everybody. But I think Matt was saying something controversial. Oh, we have Anachronic Comics, Joe. How you doing tonight, Joe? And what was Matt saying here?
You'll get to it eventually.
We'll get to it. We need to talk about that.
Yeah.
Right here.
Oh,
yeah, there we go.
In the community.
What's that all about?
Yeah, what's that? Like, I'm feeling kind of left out.
Right.
I'm feeling great.
We got Mr. Milt Miller in. How you doing, Milt? Dale Suspense. How you doing, sir? Nice to see you. And Matt is the man, the myth, the legend, Milt. Oh, so he's acknowledging Milt, but he's not. He doesn't have any words for Steve the Voice White, for Mark Andrews, or Rob Fat Stacks, or me for that matter.
Just a schmuck.
Yep.
DVH, how you doing tonight, sir? And all right, we are. I am messing up because I'm laughing. And we got one of my all-time favorite people, Jerry the Jitterbug. How you doing tonight, buddy? And oh, there we go. Now he's giving us our kudos. Yep. Mark, Steve,
there we go.
Yeah. Even if Gary is almost everybody.
Well, I have words for Gary.
You get no respect at all.
If we say his name 3 times, Jackson Roykirk will appear somewhere. So
right.
Yeah.
Legato, how you doing tonight, sir? Nice to see you as always. And I know it's been a while since I've seen Jackson, so hopefully he's doing well.
Yeah.
All right, so we are caught up for now. So Chuck, we are gonna turn it over to you, and we're gonna let your groovy night start off.
All right. So when I was on last time, I had a great time, and Gary said, "Tell us about yourself." So I talked about a lot of the areas I like to collect in, but I didn't get a chance to talk about my favorite era, sort of covers and just the colors and everything, which is the late 60s and the early 70s. Now, for me, that's when I think of early formative pop culture for me as a young kid, that's what I think of right there. And so I love collecting these books. So I wanted to show off some of the ones in my collection and some books that you probably have not seen much of. So we're hopefully going to have a really good time with it. So for number 1, I sort of have a category here of movies that really sort of inspire this movement, or TV shows. And so we'll start off with the book that's actually heading out to get pressed and signature verified soon, and that is an Avengers. everybody's favorite Avengers.
Wow. And
before the movie.
And signed by Diana Rigg and Patrick Mink. Holy moly.
Right.
That's
signed by
amazing,
both
Chuck.
of them. So this is just, I love this series. And, I didn't learn about this series until I was in college and found it on some obscure, cable channel down in New Orleans, and watched 2 episodes and went, what in God's name is this thing? And why have I never seen it? And of course, I recognize Diana Rigg from Her Majesty's Secret Service. So I recognized her from that. And then it was going back and watching the early episodes that there was Honor Blackman. I'm like, oh, I know who she is. Okay, yeah. But this really sort of, in my mind, starts off that British sort of surreal British mod, kind of atmosphere you get with The Prisoner and other TV shows, where you could easily have Austin Powers pop in and nobody really blink.
Yeah.
That really looks like it's in great condition too. And
yes,
I just can't believe you have both their signatures on that one cover.
Well, I bought it signed. So, and if I took it out, it's in rougher shape than it looks like it's in. But
it's signed by both. Hopefully that comes through, and those are legitimate signatures.
Yeah.
So.
Oh
wow! Nice.
Wow.
That doesn't mean anything, but
no, it doesn't.
I can print one of those.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Chuck, you need to look up the YouTube, the woman in a short skirt and a long jacket, because it's to Emma Peel, and you will love it.
I'm sure I will. Along that vein, in this number 1, I've got a collection of a famous French cartoon comic strip that was turned into a movie. And since she came up the last time I was on 1011, it only made sense to bring in the lovely Miss Jane Fonda again.
And just so you all know, he showed this to me backstage and cost me money because I didn't know that book existed.
This is a collection of the actual newspaper strips from 1964. I think that sounds right.
Nice.
And let me see if I can find some that I can actually show on a family-friendly channel.
So they're a little racy.
Gary's just buying it for the ads.
Yes.
Well, yes. I know some
Absolutely.
of you all just bought it for the articles. I understand. So it's all right. I think we're okay here, but you can see again.
And it's all black and white too, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Some colors.
Except for the green there.
Yeah, that's cool.
So it was just I got this on Comics Connect, actually, of all places. So
Really?
yeah, but I got like 10 years ago. So, I mean, and then the last one for the TV set for the number 1 is you can't have a mod world without the Mod Squad.
Absolutely.
Oh, nice.
And so got a nice, let's try to get it without too much glare there, of our favorite Jump Streets before there was Jump Street.
Near mint, 9.4.
Near mint. It was sold as a file copy from the Dell archives. So,
Wow.
Oh, nice.
That's incredible.
So that's my number 1 right there. So
Yes.
some great
Yeah,
TV
that's great.
stuff.
That's a good start.
Hey, so
That's
with
all
number
one
2,
book.
Was
I know.
that? Oh, we're doing it
He's
a
doing
Matt
it
Wood
Anachronic
Like
Comics
Joe.
style.
We're doing the
And
loose
Joe-
interpretation.
I'm doing Joe's style here. So,
Right.
Buckle in, folks.
Yeah.
no, I didn't bring that many, thankfully. Number 2,
Peggy Lipton was like, how could you not like the Mod Squad, Link, and all that? Oh,
well, and Link was Clarence Williams III was
Yep.
such a good actor. I mean,
he was,
you know,
and then he disappeared.
he showed back up on DS9, actually, of all places.
Wow.
He played the lead Jim Hadar in one of their first appearances.
That is right. Yep. Cool.
Because I remember
forgot
Avery
about
Brooks talking in an interview about how thrilled he was to get beat up by Link. So
Wait till
Everyone-
Thursday, Joe.
hey, just like all the guys on the current Star Trek Strange New Worlds get now put on their resume, thrown around by Michelle Yeoh. So everyone needs something on the resume.
Michelle Yeoh is fantastic. I grew up watching her all the way from the Heroic Trio on.
Oh yeah, she's incredible. Yeah, just amazing. So number 2 here, we have a classic Dan DiCarlo cover, which I've actually shown before, I think. This is Josie 36 with all the great stuff in the background there.
Yeah.
Which I just love.
That's fantastic.
It almost looks like a blacklight copy.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it does, doesn't it? So they did a variant of this for the Kevin Keller series that has been out recently. And so that's going to be my sort of 2A. I've got this here, and then we've got the Kevin Keller with a slightly different set of messaging on the back of it.
Nice.
You know, and I'm not a big Archie guy, but I couldn't walk away from this.
No, that's a cool cover.
So, and it's surprisingly hard to find in decent shape. So I don't know what the ratio variant was, but it's still.
We got Matt Woods calling them in.
3 times.
So, all right. Number 3. So you've got a lot of this good girl art stuff and the mod stuff, and you had all these other publishers trying to pop in on it and take advantage of it. And one of those, of course, was Harvey Comics, who was known mostly for their good girl stuff, or known mostly for the kitty stuff. But they did occasionally go out and try to do some slightly edgier stuff. And so here we have Bunny.
Yep.
Oh.
Wow, that's cool.
And so, you know, if you've ever seen the Laughing stuff, you know, we've got the painted lady here, just like when you did the Mod World and you had Goldie Hawn dancing with all the painting on her. So,
that's pretty cool.
But these are fun. I mean, the stories are just god awful bad, but you didn't buy this for the story. So,
Right.
Beatnik goatee.
Exactly. And it's amazing how great it looks while he's surfing at the same time. That's
pristine.
How he stands up on a board or something like that. It's like,
yeah, I don't think the feet are safely planted.
Exactly. Well, you know, the other covers for this series are just equally as nuts. I mean, they're just, you know, and it ran for like 20 issues. So,
well, if your stories aren't good, you need some catchy covers.
20 issues could be a record for Harvey Comics.
Well, yeah, for a non-Casper, I agree. It might be a record. So, but anyways, so this is one of the things that's actually displayed downstairs in my in my cinder block basement area. So
cool.
But along with that, we also have other people who ate Don DiCarlo, and Marvel certainly did. It's going to be the only Marvel, well, one of the only Marvels I'm showing today, when they switched Millie the model from a prom queen from the early 60s to a mod girl.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
And so, of course, you have to find the right Millie there, but I love all the other stuff, like the Toulouse-Lautrec down here.
Yeah, you've got like a pretty good romance collection over at your house, right?
I've got a little bit of one. I'm going to be showing more tonight than normal. I've got some, but romance is just not one of those things I've super gotten into, but I love the covers from this era for romance books. They really pop.
They're very dramatic.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Busy. Very busy.
Yeah. Well, you know, you got Bogey right there. I mean,
it's at the poster shop, man.
Yeah, W.C. Field.
I know the posters are awesome.
It's a poster shop.
All right,
get yourself some black velvet.
Yep.
all we need now is lava lamp, and we're all happy. So
can you imagine
we all go back to the green room?
Can I what?
Can you the guys doing the color to make sure like it was printing right? You know, like and making for quality control when those are being printed out. Like it would. Some of them they would go, is it right? I don't know. Is it?
They may have had taken a drag on something to decide whether or not it was right or not. So
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Seems good to me, man.
I know. Well, number 4 here. I did say we were going to have a groovy old time, and so I can't do that without having a groovy comic.
Nice.
You know,
No.
and this goes back to those old, you know, sort of one panel gag series. And I love this one right here on the front. Get close up there, everybody can read it without the glare.
You have to read it to us.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
So you got the biker parent and the somewhat hippie mother and little boy going off to Scouts, and she goes, "Where did we go wrong?" And this is a funky 3-issue series, and I think this is from Marvel actually. Where
Really?
they were trying to kind of get into those one panel gag series, and you know it didn't last very long, but they're still kind of fun though.
And I love the trade dress on that too. It's just fun.
Yeah.
Hey, Chuck, do you have a 70s Dodge van parked in your driveway right now?
I do not.
It's in the shop.
Wagon.
Yeah, he's having
I would
puppies
love
put
to
on the
have
side.
one of those electric VW. They've got the VW vans in the style of the 60s,
Yeah.
but you can get them electric now.
Then
I
they at
would
least have
love
some
to have
power.
those. Yeah. Well, so just a quick aside, I was telling a story about a time in New Orleans where the theater people all went down to the French Quarter to celebrate while we were doing the theater show. The vehicle we rode in on was a 68 VW van that was missing 2 of its back seats. So,
Well, you
so
don't
we
need
could stick 20-some people in there.
As long as you were going downhill or flat level, you're okay. But
It's New Orleans. It was level. We were.
And
good.
did you guys carpet it after you took the back seats out?
Anyways, this,
That's a yes.
I'm sorry. I work in public
PG.
education. The statute of limitations for that question might have expired 30 years ago.
Might need Joe the attorney on this one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I might.
Now Joe's going, stop
neither
talking,
confirm
Chuck.
we can neither confirm nor deny.
That's why I'm in disguise. You see. So
Yeah, your name's not really well displayed right there beside you.
that's all right. All I can say about my college years is thank God we didn't have cell phones, and
Photos.
we're going to leave it at that.
Hypothetically.
That's right. So number 5 here, have a great one shot from a newspaper strip, Friday Foster.
Oh, that's a good one.
Ooh.
Which
That's a hard to find book.
Yeah.
I found this at a local con actually.
That's
And
all.
like, literally did backflips over it. And of course my kids are looking at me like, Dad, what the hell's wrong with you? Which
Did you
granted is
show
a
them the
standard reaction when we go to a con, but
That's a
This
hard
is
book
just-
to find.
it is, and it's such a cool book because
It is.
they're taking a lot of the newspaper strips from the 70s and kind of putting them in here. And Friday was this sort of liberated woman. She's a fashion photographer / news hound / adventurous. And they always put her in like new costumes and everything. And it's just a really fun one shot to read. And Blaze a couple of years ago actually printed out a collection of the Sunday strips for it.
Ooh.
Really?
Which you can find.
Wow.
Now, they only did the Sunday strips, unfortunately, but you can kind of get a feel for them here.
I'll say too. And a Pam Grier movie too, right?
The Pam Grier movie, which is actually not half bad. He's got Pam Grier in it. It's in the 70s, so,
Right.
But it's actually it's a fun movie to sit there and watch, find the celebs. Because that's what my wife and I did when we watched it. And like Eartha Kitt's in there, and Yvette Koto's in there, and just almost every major African American star of one sort or another from that time period is in there. And so it was just really, really neat. So not something you should have on with younger kids around because it is
Not
from an era.
Right. Not anything 70s with Pam Grier. Don't watch Arena.
Right. But it's like you say, for that genre of movie, it's really, really, it's genuinely well done for that genre of movie. We were both very impressed with it.
Well, Bobby Diagano said it's a damn good in his opinion.
There you go.
See? There we go, right there. We got the 2 thumbs up right there. So,
you know what? I've never seen that movie. I'm going to have to rectify that. And I've seen most of Pam Grier's stuff.
well, we didn't know about it till we went to the local Alamo place here, and they had a big giant poster of it in the middle of the hall. And my wife, who follows my comics just enough, goes, "You got that comic, don't you?" And I went, "I didn't know it was a movie."
Yeah, I do.
So, yeah. Well, yeah, this is my general reaction when she sees something like, "Yeah, I do," until she points to Amazing Fantasy. You have that? No, I don't have that. No.
And I remember too, like when that Quentin Tarantino movie, Jackie Brown came out. I mean, I went to the theater to see that just because Pam Grier was in it. I'm like, I get to see a Pam Grier movie in the theater.
Yeah. And Tarantino was the best person in the world to take care of her too. That's the other thing. So, he really, really knew how to take care, knew how to appreciate her and her genuine acting ability, not just, anything else, but the fact she really can act. So,
yes, she can.
Yeah. All right. So now we've deviated off to the areas of movies. So
he's doing pretty good for not being able to see a thing.
Right?
I can see pretty well. Thank you very much. It's that tiny box right there that just insulted me. So,
and that it's not really Chuck. It's Mark doing a weekend at Bernie's with him.
Hey, as long as my handler says, as long as his lips don't move, I'm fine. So it's okay.
Book number 36.
This is number 6. Just right.
Yes.
Joe's keeping count for me, so it's okay. So we have DC.
Don't push Rob tonight. He's already edgy.
Right.
So
I'll go back
DC,
to the green room.
I know. DC really enjoyed a lot of this, really embraced the 60s and 70s style, I think, a lot more than Marvel did. Outside of your occasional Daredevil, where, you had Engar the Screamer or, some of these other random characters, you didn't really see it embrace in Marvel the same way DC did. And I happen to be a big Beatles fan, which I understand is a point of contention for some people. They'll survive. So if we're doing this, I have to have Neil Adams.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, there we go.
And the classic.
Yeah.
Yep.
Lovingly embracing conspiracy theory 125A. So, and this is just such a fun book to have, especially if you're a fan of the Beatles.
It's a must-have if you're, yep.
Exactly. So I love having this book, and this is another one of those where I was just absolutely thrilled and fun. And again, of course, my kids both looked at me like, "Why?" and I said, if you play the CD backwards, it will tell you something. What will it tell us? The CD player is broken. So,
right.
But anyway, so this is my number 6. This was one that was a lot of fun to find. So
and a beautiful book too. What a cover!
Yeah,
a great cover.
So just a fun, and it's Neil Adams for Pete's sake. So
Neil Adams, the Beatles, Batman. What more can you ask for?
Exactly. Just patience. Okay. So number 7, the Teen Titans was another series that really embraced this stuff really well. And I don't have a lot of Teen Titans from this era, but if I'm talking about a mod world, then we've got to have the Mad Mod.
Yep.
Ooh. I've never seen that cover. That's so
a cool cover.
There's another. Wow. There's a really good one with his second appearance, I think, where he's kind of in the background laughing in a fog or something. I couldn't find. I think I've got it somewhere downstairs, but I couldn't find it for this. But this is his first appearance.
I love those DC books with those checkers across the top.
Any of these, man. Any of these I find, I'm a sucker for them right there.
And what's issue number is that, Chuck?
This is 7, I think. 7.
Issue 7?
Yeah.
He can't see anything right now.
I know we can't. He's
perfectly fine. Thank you very much.
See, he's cheating now.
That's 7. I knew that. y'all try to get me. Y'all try to distract me. That's all. So now, I didn't know much about Mad Mod. I knew he existed, but I wasn't really interested in pursuing him until I saw Teen Titans go on Cartoon Network and saw their 2 episodes with the Mad Mod, which are just funny as all get out. They are they kill you. Now, do y'all know who they got to do the voice for Mad Mod?
No.
They got Malcolm McDowell to do it.
Oh
wow.
That's
everybody's favorite Droog got to do the voice of Mad Mod. And it was just amazing. And there's all the homages in there to 60s cartoons and all sorts of stuff. And it is so much fun. There's homages all over the place. There's the second one to Yellow Submarine in terms of the style of animation they used and everything else. And it was just great. So that made me inspired to go track this down.
Yeah.
So
and a great cover. And looks like that whole cover is just beautiful. Like I don't see any breaks in the black, and those backgrounds. If it's yellow, orange, or black, they're tough. Yeah, it's in really nice shape. But I wanted to get a really really nice presenting copy of it. So
Mylar makes all the difference.
Yeah,
it does.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. So, all right. Number 8, right?
Number 8.
Keeping count. There you go. So DC also experimented with lots of ideas that were not so great. The Mad Mod, he's okay. This character, however, I do not think is showing up on a DC animated film anytime soon. But I would not put it past James Gunn to throw a reference just to mess with people's mind. In fact, honestly, I'd love to see.
I have an idea who this is.
Huh?
I would love actually
to see him throw him in the Suicide Squad for a brief cameo, just because. So, of course, we're talking about the one and the only, because there were only 2 issues of it.
Yep.
Brother Power,
the Geek.
Wow.
Now, of course, you can imagine trying to explain to somebody today what they meant by the Geek back then, as opposed to us geeks. And I think technically we're nerds, but anyways. This series, if you've never read it, is just so wild. And
it is
so strange. And vaguely disturbing.
Yep. I got both issues, and it is just one of those you read it going, what?
I want to know how this got past quality control. I really
don't know.
I mean, Prez, I can kind of understand. There's a high concept there, sort of. Maybe. But yeah, that one is like, wow.
There's no concept here. I mean, all right, there's a concept, but now this character actually showed back up as recently as 4 years ago.
Wow. Where?
He showed up, and give me 1 minute to get to it because I'm not planning on showing this, but I happen to have it here because I hadn't taken it downstairs yet. He showed up in the Inferior 5 miniseries that came out not too long ago.
Yeah,
I heard of that one. Yeah, that was.
He's in there.
He's in there. Yes.
Wow, I did not know that.
In there.
And I was looking it up, Chuck. That Brother Power the Geek book goes for a pretty penny.
Yes, it's really hard to find in nice shape. In fact, there he is. Right there, as a matter of fact.
Wow.
So
I did not know that even he had another appearance anywhere in a book.
He actually wanted to retain the rights, Mark. So they brought him back out again.
Yep.
Yeah, he's got like a total of like 7 or 8 appearances. Neil Gaiman did something with him in what was it? I think he had I don't know if it was Neil or somebody else did something with him in a Swamp Thing annual. And
that would make sense.
There was a Vertigo one shot with the Geek that was a Vertigo one shot. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't really count those. I know that's just being like hoity-toity, but
he did appear though that series, that Brave and the Bold series in like the 90s, early 2000s.
The one that had the Zatanna, Batgirl, Supergirl team up that's worth so much. He appears in that one also.
Really?
Yeah.
If you get a chance to read the first two books, it is bizarre. It is just.
Should you be sober when you're reading them, or a little bit?
It doesn't matter.
They're just out there, huh?
They're just out there.
They're just weird no matter what. It doesn't matter what kind of mental state you're in.
What kind of powers does this geek have? Well, I've never heard of him before.
So he is basically a stuffed doll for all intents and purposes that gets animated with a bolt of lightning and something else, and sort of has this humanoid characteristics to it. The chat can help me out, by the way, because I'm trying to remember this all now. And he just kind of wanders from one thing to another. Apparently, if Rick Veitch had stayed with Green Lantern, the Brother Power was going to show up in one of the later issues of it before he left, because he got in a snit with DC. So he said that apparently there's a satellite in one of his issues that's coming back down to Earth, and that if he had stayed on the title, Brother Power would have emerged from it. Which,
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
And guys, keep in mind, those of you watching, that was a fuzzy period for Chuck, and he spent a lot of time in a carpeted van. Okay, so cut him a break.
So
yeah. When that book came out, I was about 1 year old, if I was even alive at the time. So I was probably laying on the carpet quite a bit and not being very coherent. That's true.
Yes.
And Jackson Roykirk broke it down for everybody.
Yeah, that was perfect.
All right, good. See?
So number 9.
Number 9. So we're going to entitle this The Women of DC. Specifically two women who got a makeover. And so the first one, of course, is Wonder Woman. And again, we can't have this conversation without showing this book.
That's a travesty.
That was just so wrong. Like, what were they doing?
Well, and she stays this way for like 7 years. I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Because it was a bi-monthly book at that point. And she stayed that way for like 30 issues. I mean,
I can't believe it lasted with her looking like that.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, they basically depowered her.
They did. But the idea for Denny O'Neil was he was going to depower her to empower her, to show that she was a superhero without having to have the magic lasso and everything else. And the story is that, they ran this for a long time, and he ran into Betty Friedan somewhere, the editor of Ms. And she was like, "What the hell did you do to Wonder Woman?" And he was like, "What do you mean?" She said, "We like her with superhero powers."
Yep.
He's like, "Oh." And so they, put her back in. This is also the first appearance of I Ching, her mentor, who is not quite every bad stereotype you've ever heard of, but but it was not due to lack of trying.
Yeah. Yeah.
The less said, the better.
Yeah.
I am one issue short of having every one of her appearances in the mod outfit. I'm missing an issue of Superman that she was in with. She was in like this, which I didn't know about until 3 months ago. So I now have to get it. So
Seth, you're wrong.
I know it's very frustrating. It's like early Zatanna appearances, right? I think I've got all of them. And then she has like this weird 2-page panel in some obscure DC book. And I'm like, are you kidding me? What? Never mind.
Zatanna had that 4-issue miniseries, which I have here, which was drawn by Esteban Murado. And she's not in her classic costume. It's a great story.
Yeah. It was written by Kim Yale.
Completely different take on her.
Yes. John Ostrander's wife, who did a great job with her. So the other woman of DC we're going to mention is Lois Lane.
No.
And Lois Lane underwent a real radical makeover. And this particular issue I have has her even taking even a more radical makeover. And so
this is more than a makeover.
So,
Oh, yeah.
Since we already mentioned I Ching, I figure I've already torn the Band-Aid off. Yeah. So if you've never seen this book, this is a strange book. Even by DC standards.
Very controversial too.
It's a very special after school issue, is what it is.
Yep.
And like many after school specials, it bombs horribly. Their heart is in the right place. They mean well. Even in 1972, this hit like major cringe. And so, of course, Stupid Me bought this book because it was the second appearance of Rose and Thorn, because I like the Rose and Thorn. I had no idea what this thing was when I bought it. Until, again, about 10 years later, where everybody's on the internet and people are showing this thing off going, oh my God, do you believe this controversy? I was like, oh, that? Yeah, I've got that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so, but if you ever you can find, I think, scans of it online. It's worth reading once you can see what they were trying to do.
Yep.
Yeah, they were trying, but boy, oh boy.
Yeah.
It makes you uncomfortable. I've got it too, Chuck, and it's just like I don't have it on the wall.
Yeah.
It's like
I'm just amongst all my friends on the internet now, so I can show this safely, right?
Yeah. I get what they were trying to do, but some things no.
Some things you shouldn't do.
Yep.
Yeah. I agree. So, all right.
But that's the history of literature, right? I mean, it doesn't matter if it's novels or comics. There's cringeworthy stuff that was well-meaning at the time and fell flat because people doing it just didn't comprehend what they were doing.
Well, and it was written by a bunch of speaking for the panel here, a bunch of middle-aged white guys who were trying to be relevant and hip and trying to be good, and
Yep.
It's kind of like if you read those issues of Prez, man. Those, as we say in the South, bless their hearts. So, anyways,
I've lost track of how many times Jackson Roykirk's unsubbed me and subbed me back up again.
Is there a ban button? I can
bring it back here. So, there's a lot of good. So, number 10 here. There's a lot of great horror stuff, and I just pulled out one book because I can't think of doing like 60s and 70s stuff without doing at least a little bit of Ditko. And so here we have Haunted One.
Oh, that's a good book.
Ooh. Wow. I've never seen that or heard of it.
Oh, it's a great book, but it's so hard to find decent shape because of the cover.
Yeah, it is. But this is one of those Charlton horror series. And by then, Ditko was working almost exclusively at Charlton.
Yeah.
And, basically they were like, crank out a book. We really don't care.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, okay. So, they said, here, do horror. He's like, I can do horror.
Yep.
And this is a fun run of books here.
They're
not, outside of number one, they're not terribly expensive.
That is a crazy good cover execution, though.
Is
that die cut or is it just
no?
That's just the cover.
That's just
like
the
a
cover.
negative space cover. That's cool.
Yeah. So
it's a good ghost.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's screaming at us right now is what he's doing.
Most of the copies of that, the white is just beat to death, and it's it's just so but it is such a cool cover. It's just so unusual, and and I can get why you think it was die cut, Rob, because that's the way you would think it would be. It looks like that, but they didn't do that back then.
You mean to tell me that the Charlton quality paper doesn't maintain its whiteness?
I know. I'm glad you're sitting down,
Rob. We're just pleased that it's actually still together. Forget
this is true.
I mean, people look at me funny when I tell them that a high grade Charlton book to find is a 6.0 or higher. If I find a graded Charlton book that's an 8.0 or higher, I'm going to grab it because they're Charlton. I mean,
that's like EC books too. Same thing.
Yeah, exactly. These things fall apart just by looking at them. So,
and that book's not too bad. You can get a good copy for $20.
Yeah, there was one for sale from Steve. There was one from sale from Timmons on eBay.
Oh, right on.
So knock yourself out.
Yeah,
because these guys don't know
there
what
was a
Timmons
1980 reprint of it.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Oh, Mark, we're going to talk on Thursday about rabbit holes. Okay.
Oh, are we?
Yes.
But Chuck, that's a great book, man. I never even knew it existed, and that's a beautiful cover.
Well, thanks. I love it. My guy Isaac at Crazy for Comics had that up on one of his YouTube sale, on one of his Facebook sales. And I was like, I got to grab that. When am I going to get a chance to grab that book in that nice of a shape again? So,
right.
All right. So I'm to my story now.
Yes.
Yeah, I've kept count. So,
someone's counting for you off stage. We know.
I know. So, so we have a local con here in Raleigh that happens 4 times a year, and it's Lynn Anderson's con. The next one is in December. He does a great job. It is an old school comics con. Okay, old guys, lots of boxes, the occasional local artist, and that's about it. And I was taking my kids there when they were little because I wanted to introduce them to comics and everything. And it was while going there that my daughter learned who Jack Kirby was and can identify Jack Kirby. So she has at least one semi-marketable skill in her life. But there was a wall book I kept seeing at one of the dealers from Tennessee. And I looked at it and I was like, man, that's a really expensive book. And, didn't think anything about it. 3 months later, it's still, 4 months later, it's still there. Okay, that's nice. It's still there the next time, still there the next time. And I went and did research on it and went, wow, that really is a hard book to find. So in other words, that scarce label on there, it really is scarce. So this, you're joking about my romance books. This is one of the first romance books I ever bought. And then I'm going to show its companion in just a minute. And this is Super DC Giant.
Ooh, wow.
That's a good cover.
It's a good year.
It's an awesome cover. And it's in incredible shape. And talked him down on the price some because he'd seen me looking at it like 4 times in a row, and I was already buying other stuff. This is extremely, the Super DC Giants are hard to find in nice shape anyways. And then these romance ones in particular are especially hard to find because nobody kept them. Yep. So I got it in my collection. It was expensive. It's gone up. I was like, okay, I'm never going to be able to get a companion, right? I can't afford it. I looked for it on eBay. Every time I found it on eBay, it looked like somebody, backed the car up over it a couple of times, run it over, and then they wanted freaking $400 for it. And I was like, no, we're not doing this.
Well, on eBay, crazy prices.
They were the ones that said all it needs is a press and a clean, and it's going to look great. And I'm like, yeah, no, that needs a time machine. So, but during the pandemic, I found on there a CBCS special.
Ooh.
Oh, graded. Nice.
Wow.
Graded 7.0, which is I'm thrilled with. Look at this cover. Does this not scream amazing. 70s?
Oh yeah.
I mean, that just screams 70s to you right there, doesn't it?
Yep.
And so I was very happy to actually complete the set. So now I could probably crack this and get it clean and get a higher grade. I'm perfectly happy with it.
Why bother it?
No, not gonna mess with it. So
when did
that this reminds me like all those PBS TV shows from like the 70s and whatnot.
Yep.
It has that artistic and color feel to it.
That cover is just amazing.
Yeah.
I thought the first one was good, but I really like that one a lot too. They're equally great.
And only 2 issues to that, eh?
What's that?
There was only 2 issues to that series.
Only 2 issues in the Super DC Giants of the reprint.
Oh, okay.
So so this was a whole series of like reprint books and stuff. So, so anyways,
that's awesome.
Very nice.
So you got a lot of people loving it, Chuck. I know you can't read the chat right now, so
I'm glad they love it. So I got my spec pick. So I love my gold keys. Okay. And I had to find something that had sold recently, unexpectedly recently, that would make for a good spec pick. And so almost right on cue as I was starting to do the research, I saw a message come across and a Facebook dealer I know was selling a graded 8.0 copy of this. And I said, somebody got this thing slabbed? Really? So I had to have as my spec pick since we do have an 8.0 slab that sold recently. This is Gold Key Zadi, the mod robot.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
Wow, never heard of that either.
Never heard of that or seen it before.
Now, Mark, have you seen this?
Yep. I don't have it, but I've seen it.
I went out too there. Okay. I was hoping for the sweet, but.
Rob, have you been the robot guy?
No.
No?
And Rob, I don't know if you want this robot or not, because I'm not sure all of his screws are. I think he's got some screws loose. So, he may be hitting the motor oil a little too hard. So
you've seen that slabbed?
Saw an 8.0 of it slabbed.
Wow.
The online sale of it was at least the one that's on GPA.
Yeah.
Had it sold for I think $41. This guy flipped it in his auction for $80. Which just tells you that the people in his auction were not looking at GPA. But so there are slab versions out of this. The story is absolutely horrible. It's nuts beyond words. But you know what? But if you're going to spec in something silly, and if you really want to throw the algorithm off at cover price, just absolutely take their brains.
Okay, all five of us now. We're gonna after the show. We're gonna go buy.
Yeah.
That may be all it takes too.
Yeah.
And,
Wow. There's some other high grade versions of it too. There's this year a 9.4 and a 9.6 sold.
Wow.
What did
the 9.4 sell for?
The 9.4 sold for $43 and a 9.6 sold for $59.
Jesus.
You see,
wow,
it makes it a great spec pick. It's even affordable too.
There you go.
Rob's already bought both of those copies. He's on his way to his house right now.
Yeah, and buy it now.
Buy it now.
I just what I love to see is have Portivo over at Lords of the Law Box having this as one of those cover price shakers list, and have them have to read the script of this going, what the hell is this?
It's trending up. Sales are up 500%.
Exactly. Right.
Top 10 trending. Put it right next to your Turok 1.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's my spec pick right there.
That's a pretty entertaining spec pick.
Holy cow.
We could get accused of manipulating the market if we play with this.
Right.
All 6 copies, exactly.
Wow. I can't believe people have actually slabbed that.
Here's Jackson Oerkirk with the info. He assembles a mechanical man, which then comes to life, becoming Zadi, the mod Rob.
You see? What more do you need to know right there?
He's an astrological terrestrial phenomenon doing his thing right here on terra firma. What doesn't Jackson Oerkirk know?
Ipso facto. Wow.
And that may be the best sales pitch that book has ever had. That's the sad
Right? One and only time it'll ever be talked about ever in the history of comics.
Well, Gary, I wanted to make sure I showed a book that was never going to show back up here again. So I have now succeeded.
No, because now Rob's got 2 slab copies on the way.
Yep. Next time we see Rob, they'll be prominently displayed on either side of his chair,
right behind his head.
Oh, Rico, thank you for showing
only
up.
Only if I can find a 9.8. I'll pay the 4 times step up to get a $200 9.8.
I can't believe anybody would charge $200 for a 9.8. They'd probably be so stunned it came back in 9.8 they wouldn't know what to do with it. So,
wow.
And that's all I've got.
That was a fun group of books, Chuck.
That was crazy, the amount of books there. I hadn't seen almost all of those. I'd never seen them before.
Helmet.
Oh, wow.
Oh, not enough bubble helmet.
Yeah.
Well,
you know what? Those, like, some of those books, Chuck, are just there. If you get a chance to read some of those, they're just so bizarre. Like the geek, I can't say, it's one of those books that you just, if you get a chance to read it, you just read it, and they're like,
it's what makes comics fun, man. Those are the type of things they make comics fun.
Yep.
Yeah, and I love that odd stuff. The odd stuff is so much fun.
Yeah,
it is.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because you just don't see it all the time, and it's just all these little things that popped up are just so cool.
And it just reminds you that anybody can be an editor in comics, because
yeah, literally.
Because look at what they've let go through so far.
Yeah.
So
Well, no, that was great. Well, we'll go around the horn here. First we'll start with Rob, fresh off of eBay. Rob, what's coming up for you this week?
An unboxing. What are you unboxing, Rob?
Well, yesterday I unboxed some silver keys.
Yes, you
and
did.
then tomorrow, what is it? Thursday, I got a Geek It Out $100 Geek Out with Roscoe mystery box. The one I unboxed 2 weeks ago was so fun. I reached out to him. He said he had one left, so I couldn't let that stand. I had to pick up that other one. So I'll be unboxing that second Geek Out with Roscoe mystery box. Then Saturday, of course, is Only Slabs. I'll have Doc from Man Cave Comics on, making sure that he stays the number one guest on our show, I suppose. So there's that. And then, of course, we'll be running around promoting Comics Curing Cancer everywhere. Please follow at Comics Curing Cancer on Instagram. We're posting up pictures, images of all the various art, original art and slabs and stuff that we're getting in for the big event, big auction. And we're going to have, looks like we're potentially going to have, the pre-sales are open for the Comics Curing Cancer exclusive right now. We'll say information about that's on our website. We have an exclusive comic that was our exclusive variant of Unnatural Order #1 that was donated by the Comic Mint. They covered the entire production cost of the book. So the $20 variant, all $20 goes to Comics Curing Cancer. And it looks like that Vault is going to be making a special printing of it for us because it was originally going to be delayed, and they just told us that they're doing a special printing, so we'll have it on time, which is great.
Nice.
That's very good.
Good.
Well, we're going to go over to Steve White next, and Steve, Chuck, and Mark can all say what they're doing this Thursday. So, guys, what's happening this Thursday?
Yeah, I'm on the 6001 there on Thursday.
Right? We'll have Mark Andrews will be co-hosted along with me and Digger Jim, and I think Chuck, you're going to join too.
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent.
Nice. So we'll have a nice full stack for Steve the Voice White, who's probably got to reconfigure his books again. How many times have you had to reconfigure them, Steve?
Oh, Jesus, 4 times. All these guys were throwing up these awesome books, and I was like, oh, my God. Okay, I got to take that one off the list, take that one off the list. And then I realized the rabbit hole that Mark put me down, and I said, okay, I got enough there to do a bunch right there. So we're going to talk about
Mark should just have a T-shirt that says, I'm your new rabbit hole.
I don't think that's no. I'm not thinking that's a good T-shirt to wear.
That one might need a parental disclaimer on it. So
yeah, I don't know if that's going to be interpreted correctly.
There'll be restraining orders for sure.
There we go. He's already back, guys.
Can't wait for Peter to show up.
Yep.
Yes, and go to Rob's merch store and buy some shirts and mugs and stuff too.
At staxmerch.com, all the proceeds go to Comics Curing Cancer.
Yep.
And mustache.
The shirt, it's on the way.
Thank you.
And coming up for me, of course, we just said it. Steve White is on Thursday, and this Saturday is the 30th, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
If you say so.
This Saturday, I have another 10-1-1 Saturday night. Every once in a while, we do a Saturday night special for guests that can't make it during the week. And we're going to have Puff Comics 83, Sean, on the 10-1-1, making his first appearance, another Conan fan. And the Varangian Vigilante, Thorson himself from Austria, is going to be my co-host for that show.
Nice.
So
awesome.
It's going to be a fun show. Sean's got some great books. It's going to be fun to see what he brings us. But that's all I got. And guys, great show. I want to thank, of course, my co-host Rob for being here every Tuesday and helping out, no matter how tired he is from work or how mad the people at work made him. Thank you, Rob. I want to thank Mark Andrews, of course, for coming on. Thanks for always being willing to co-host, Mark. I appreciate it, bud.
Always fun.
And of course, Steve. Steve is staying up late. Usually Steve's asleep by now. So Steve, thank you for taking a nap and coming on late for us.
You're welcome.
Nap
Chuck, everyone in the audience said it, man. You gave us a great show. Those are fantastic books. Thank you so much for coming on again and showing us your great collection.
Thanks so much. I had a great time putting that together. That was fun.
And everyone in the audience, thanks for the support. We had a great crowd tonight. All the regulars, a few new ones.
And great to see some of my regular channel supporters come out that don't get to catch the lives all the time, like Kariko. Thank you so much, Kariko, for coming out. And guys, that's it for this episode. Until next time, keep it casual, and we will see you Thursday night.